The smoothie in your blender right now is a sugar bomb, 2 bananas, orange juice, strawberries. Your blood sugar will hit 220 within an hour. Your pancreas will dump massive amounts of insulin. You'll crash by mid-morning and reach for another snack. But if I gave you 7 different ingredients and told you to blend them in a specific order, your glucose would drop to 130 and stay there for 5 hours. Same blender, same format, completely different result. The difference isn't whether you drink a smoothie, it's what you put in it and how you combine it. Clinical trials prove this. When type 2 diabetics drink the right smoothie formula, post-meal glucose drops by 35% compared to eating the same foods solid. The fiber slows absorption. The protein triggers hormones that improve insulin sensitivity. The healthy fats keep your glucose stable for hours. I'm going to rank all 7 ingredients, starting with number 7 and working up to number 1. The single most powerful blood sugar lowering ingredient you can add to any smoothie. But first, you need to understand what happens inside your body when you blend food versus eating it whole. Because this mechanism is why most smoothies fail and why this one works. Here's what happens when you drink a typical fruit smoothie. You blend 2 bananas, a cup of orange juice, some strawberries, maybe a scoop of protein powder. Pour it in a glass. Drink it down in 5 minutes. That smoothie just delivered 60 to 80 grams of fast-absorbing carbohydrates directly into your bloodstream with almost no fiber intact. The blender shredded the fiber. The fruit cell walls broke down. The natural sugars, fructose and glucose, are now suspended in liquid form, ready for immediate absorption. Your stomach doesn't have to work. Your intestines don't have to break anything down. That sugar hits your bloodstream within 15 to 20 minutes. Your glucose spikes to 200, maybe 220. Your pancreas dumps massive amounts of insulin to deal with the surge. 2 hours later, your blood sugar crashes. You're hungry again. You're tired. Your body just went through a glucose roller coaster that created oxidative stress, inflammation, and insulin resistance. Now, compare that to eating those same foods whole. You eat a banana, chew it thoroughly, swallow. The fiber is intact. Your stomach has to break down the food mechanically. Your intestines have to work to extract the sugars. That same banana takes 45 to 60 minutes to fully digest. The glucose enters your bloodstream gradually. No spike, no crash. This is why diabetics are told to avoid smoothies. But here's the thing. You can engineer a smoothie that behaves like whole food, not liquid sugar. You do this with 3 strategies. Strategy 1, fiber sequencing. You add ingredients with soluble fiber that form a gel in your stomach. This gel traps the sugar molecules and slows their absorption. Your smoothie becomes a slow-release glucose delivery system instead of a sugar bomb. Strategy 2, protein timing. You add protein that triggers GLP-1 release. This hormone slows gastric emptying, improves insulin sensitivity, and signals fullness to your brain. Your body processes the smoothie more efficiently. Strategy 3, fat stabilization. You add healthy fats that coat your intestinal lining and further slow nutrient absorption. Your glucose stays stable for hours instead of spiking and crashing. When you combine all three strategies with the right ingredients in the right ratios, you create a smoothie that lowers your blood sugar instead of raising it. That's what I'm about to show you. Ingredient number 7, raw spinach. Most people think spinach in a smoothie is just for vitamins. They throw in a handful because it's healthy. Wrong. Spinach is in this smoothie for one specific reason. Thylakoids. Thylakoids are the membrane structures inside spinach chloroplasts. When you blend raw spinach, these membranes stay partially intact. They don't fully break down like fruit fiber does. Here's what they do in your digestive system. Thylakoids slow down lipase, the enzyme that digests fat. This creates a signal in your intestines that food is still being processed. Your body releases satiety hormones, GLP-1, CCK, PYY. These hormones tell your brain you're full. They also slow gastric emptying, which means everything in your smoothie gets absorbed more slowly. A study published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition gave overweight women a spinach extract high in thylakoids before breakfast. Post-meal glucose was 10% lower compared to a placebo. Insulin release was more controlled. Participants reported feeling fuller for longer. But here's the critical part. It has to be raw spinach, not cooked. Cooking breaks down the thylakoid membranes. You lose the benefit. Blending raw spinach keeps them intact enough to work. How much do you need? It's packed cups of raw spinach per smoothie. That sounds like a lot, but spinach wilts down to almost nothing in a blender. You won't even taste it if you add it correctly, which I'll show you when we get to the blending order. Why this works specifically for seniors. As you age, your natural production of satiety hormones decreases. You feel hungrier more often, even when you've eaten enough. Coids from spinach compensate for this by artificially boosting those hormone levels. Practical tip: buy pre-washed baby spinach in bulk. It's already cleaned, tender, and blends smoothly. Frozen spinach works too, but fresh has slightly more intact thylakoids. One more thing, spinach is high in nitrates. These convert to nitric oxide in your body, which improves blood vessel function and may enhance insulin delivery to your cells. It's a secondary benefit, but it adds up. So, ingredient number 7, 2 packed cups of raw spinach, non-negotiable. Ingredient number 6, chia seeds. Chia seeds are one of the highest fiber foods you can add to a smoothie. 1 tablespoon gives you 5 grams of fiber, but it's not just any fiber. It's soluble fiber that swells when it absorbs liquid. Here's the mechanism. When chia seeds hit the liquid in your smoothie, they absorb up to 12 times their weight in water. They form a gel. This gel coats the inside of your stomach and small intestine. Glucose molecules get trapped in this gel matrix. They can't rush through your intestinal wall all at once. They trickle through gradually. A study in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition had type 2 diabetics consumed chia seeds with bread. post-meal glucose spikes were reduced by 39% compared to eating bread alone. The chia gel slowed carbohydrate digestion so effectively that glucose never surged. But there's a second mechanism at play here. Chia seeds contain alpha-linolenic acid, an omega-3 fatty acid. This improves insulin receptor function on your cell membranes. Your cells become more responsive to insulin, which means less insulin is needed to move glucose out of your bloodstream. How much do you need? 2 tablespoons per smoothie? Any more, and the texture gets too thick. Any less, and you don't get enough gel formation. As you age, your intestinal motility slows down. Food moves through your digestive tract more slowly anyway. Chia seeds take advantage of this by creating a sustained release effect. Your glucose stays stable for hours because digestion is already naturally slower in older adults. Practical tip: add the chia seeds to your liquid base first. Water, unsweetened almond milk, whatever you're using. Let them sit for 5 minutes before blending. This pre-soaking starts the gel formation before you even add the other ingredients. Your smoothie becomes thicker, more filling, and more blood sugar friendly. One warning: if you're on blood thinners, talk to your doctor before adding chia seeds daily. The omega-3 South have a mild blood-thinning effect. For most, it's not an issue. But if you're on warfarin or similar medications, check first. Ingredient number 6. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds pre-soaked for 5 minutes. This creates the gel matrix that traps glucose and slows absorption. Ingredient number 5. Greek yogurt, full-fat, unsweetened. Most diabetic smoothie recipes use protein powder. I'm telling you to use Greek yogurt instead. Here's why. It gives you protein and fat in one ingredient. The protein triggers GLP-1 release, but the fat does something even more important. It activates a hormone called GIP, glucose-dependent insulinotropic polypeptide. GIP tells your pancreas to release insulin only when glucose is present. This is critical. You're not flooding your system with insulin when you don't need it. You're releasing insulin in precise amounts. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition compared high-protein, high-fat yogurt to low-fat yogurt. The full-fat group had 21% lower glucose spikes and better insulin sensitivity over 12 weeks. But here's the part most people get wrong. It has to be full-fat, not low-fat or fat-free. When you remove the fat, you remove the satiety signal and GIP activation. You're left with just protein and a lot of added sugar because low-fat yogurt tastes terrible without sweeteners. How much do you need? Half a cup per smoothie? That gives you about 15 grams of protein and 5 grams of fat. Why this works specifically for seniors? As you age, your protein needs increase. You need more protein to maintain muscle mass, support immune function, and regulate blood sugar. Most seniors underconsume protein at breakfast. Adding Greek yogurt corrects this deficiency while stabilizing glucose. Practical tip: use plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt only, not vanilla, not fruit-flavored. Those have added sugars that defeat the entire purpose. The other ingredients will balance out any tartness. One more thing. Greek yogurt contains probiotics. These beneficial bacteria improve your gut microbiome. which has been shown to enhance insulin sensitivity. A healthier gut means better glucose control. It's another secondary benefit that compounds over time. So, ingredient number 5, half a cup of full-fat, unsweetened Greek yogurt. This gives you protein, fat, and probiotics in one ingredient. Ingredient number 4, frozen blueberries. Blueberries are the only fruit I'm recommending in this smoothie. They're here for a very specific reason: anthocyanins. Anthocyanins are the dark purple pigments that give blueberries their color. They're not just antioxidants, they're insulin sensitizers. Here's the mechanism. Anthocyanins inhibit an enzyme called alpha-glucosidase in your small intestine. This enzyme breaks down complex carbohydrates into simple sugars. When you block it, carbohydrates get absorbed more slowly. Your glucose doesn't spike as high. A study in the Journal of Nutrition had type 2 diabetics consume blueberries daily for 8 weeks. Fasting glucose dropped an average of 7%. Insulin sensitivity improved by 22%. The anthocyanins literally retrained their cells to respond to insulin more effectively. But there's a second mechanism. Anthocyanins also reduce oxidative stress in your pancreatic beta cells. These are the cells that produce insulin. High blood sugar damages them over time. Anthocyanins protect them from that damage. Your pancreas stays healthier longer. How much do you need? 3/4 of a cup of frozen blueberries. Frozen, not fresh. Why frozen? Because freezing breaks down the cell walls slightly, which makes the anthocyanins more bioavailable. Your body absorbs them better from frozen berries than from fresh ones. Why this works specifically for seniors? As you age, your beta cell function declines. You produce less insulin, and the insulin you do produce works less efficiently. Blueberries slow this decline. They protect the beta cells you have left and help them function better. Practical tip: buy wild blueberries if you can find them. Wild blueberries have 30% more anthocyanins. They're smaller, darker, and more tart. If you can't find wild, regular, frozen blueberries, work fine. One warning: blueberries do contain natural sugars, about 15 grams per cup. That's why we're capping it at 3/4 of a cup. Any more, and the sugar content starts to outweigh the benefits. Any less, and you're not getting enough anthocyanins. So, ingredient number 4, 3/4 of a cup of frozen blueberries. This delivers the anthocyanins. Ingredient number 3, avocado. Avocado is the fat stabilizer in this smoothie. It's what keeps your blood sugar steady for 4 to 5 hours after drinking. Here's why it works. Avocado contains monounsaturated fats, the same type found in olive oil. These fats slow gastric emptying even more than the protein or fiber we've already added. Your stomach literally holds on to the smoothie longer. Nothing rushes into your intestines. Everything digests slowly, evenly, steadily. A study in Nutrition Journal had overweight adults add half an avocado to their lunch. Post-meal glucose spikes were 26% lower. Participants also reported feeling 23% more satisfied and were less likely to snack in the afternoon. But avocado does something else that's critical for diabetics. It improves your lipid profile. Type 2 diabetes doesn't just affect your blood sugar, it affects your cholesterol. High triglycerides, low HDL, small dense LDL particles, all common in diabetics. Avocado improves all three markers. A study in the Journal of the American Heart Association had diabetic patients eat 1 avocado daily. LDL cholesterol dropped by 13.5 milligrams per deciliter. HDL, the good cholesterol, increased slightly. Triglycerides stayed stable despite the added fat intake. This matters because diabetic seniors are at high risk for cardiovascular disease. Anything that improves both blood sugar and cholesterol is a double win. How much do you need? 1/4 of a medium avocado. That's about 60 calories of fat. It sounds like a lot, but it's what makes this smoothie filling. If you go lower, you'll be hungry an hour later. If you go higher, the texture gets too thick and greasy. Why this works specifically for seniors? As you age, your calorie needs decrease, but your nutrient needs stay the same or increase. Avocado is nutrient-dense, packed with potassium, magnesium, folate. Vitamin K, you're getting essential nutrients in a small caloric package while stabilizing blood sugar. Practical tip: use frozen avocado chunks if fresh avocados go bad too quickly. Frozen works just as well, costs less, and you don't waste anything. Add them to the blender while still frozen. They'll make your smoothie cold and creamy without needing ice. One more thing. Avocado is high in potassium. 1/4 of an avocado gives you about 250 milligrams. If you're on blood pressure medications or have kidney issues, check with your doctor. For most people, it's fine. But potassium balance matters if your kidneys aren't functioning optimally. So ingredient number 3, 1/4 of a medium avocado. This stabilizes your blood sugar for hours and improves your cardiovascular markers at the same time. Ingredient number 2, cinnamon. Ceylon, not cassia. Cinnamon is the ingredient that makes this smoothie taste good while lowering your blood sugar at the same time. Here's the mechanism. So, ingredient number 3, 1/4 of a medium avocado. This stabilizes your blood sugar for hours. It also improves your cardiovascular markers at the same time. Ingredient number 2, cinnamon. Specifically, Ceylon, not cassia. Cinnamon makes this smoothie taste good while lowering your blood sugar. Here's the mechanism. Cinnamon contains compounds that mimic insulin's action on your cells. They help glucose move from your bloodstream into your cells. This happens without requiring as much actual insulin. A meta-analysis of 10 randomized controlled trials found that cinnamon supplementation lowered fasting glucose. It lowered fasting glucose by an average of 24 milligrams per deciliter in type 2 diabetics. The effect was dose-dependent. More cinnamon, bigger reduction. But there's a second mechanism. Cinnamon slows gastric emptying. It delays how quickly food leaves your stomach and enters your intestines. Combined with fiber, protein, and fat, cinnamon is the final layer of glucose control. your smoothie becomes a sustained release system. How much do you need? 1 teaspoon per smoothie. Not a pinch, a full teaspoon. Why this works specifically for seniors. Cinnamon also has anti-inflammatory properties. Chronic inflammation worsens insulin resistance. Cinnamon reduces inflammatory markers like CRP and TNF-alpha. Your body becomes less inflamed. Your cells respond to insulin better. Your blood sugar improves. Here's the critical part. It has to be Ceylon cinnamon, not cassia. Cassia cinnamon is what you find in most grocery stores. It's cheaper, but it contains high levels of coumarin. Coumarin is a compound that can damage your liver if consumed daily in large amounts. 1 teaspoon of cassia cinnamon every day for months can be hepatotoxic. Ceylon cinnamon, also called true cinnamon, has 250 times less coumarin. It's safe for daily use, even at higher doses. Practical tip: Ceylon cinnamon is more expensive, but it's worth it. Buy it online if your local store doesn't carry it. It's lighter in color than cassia, tan instead of dark brown, and has a sweeter, more delicate flavor. One more thing: cinnamon masks the taste of spinach and Greek yogurt. If you've ever made a smoothie with spinach and found it too green tasting, cinnamon eliminates that. Your smoothie tastes like a berry cinnamon dessert, not a vegetable drink. So, ingredient number 2, 1 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon. This mimics insulin action, slows digestion further, and makes your smoothie taste good. Ingredient number 1, unsweetened almond butter. Almond butter is the most powerful blood sugar lowering ingredient in this entire smoothie. Here's why. Almond butter combines protein, fat, and fiber. But more importantly, it contains magnesium. Magnesium is the master regulator of glucose metabolism. Here's the mechanism. Magnesium is a cofactor for over 300 enzymatic reactions in your body. At least 12 are directly involved in glucose metabolism and insulin signaling. When you're magnesium deficient, which most diabetics are, your cells can't respond to insulin properly. It doesn't matter how much insulin your pancreas produces. Your cells can't use it efficiently without magnesium. A study in diabetes care tracked 4,000 adults for 20 years. Those with the highest magnesium intake had a 47% lower risk of developing diabetes. This was compared to those with the lowest intake. Among people who already had prediabetes, magnesium supplementation reduced progression to full diabetes by 71%. But here's the part that matters for this smoothie. 1 tablespoon of almond butter contains 75 milligrams of magnesium. That's about 20% of your daily requirement. When you add almond butter to a smoothie that already contains protein, fat, and fiber, you create a synergistic effect. The magnesium enhances insulin signaling. The protein triggers GLP-1. The fat slows absorption. Everything works together. A study in the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences had type 2 diabetics consume 30 grams of almonds daily for 12 weeks. That's about 2 tablespoons of almond butter. Fasting glucose dropped by 6%. Insulin levels decreased by 4%. HbA1c improved by 0.2%. How much do you need? 1 tablespoon per smoothie. That gives you 3 grams of protein, 8 grams of fat, 75 milligrams of magnesium, and 2 grams of fiber. Why this works specifically for seniors? Magnesium deficiency is extremely common in older adults. Medications like diuretics and proton pump inhibitors deplete magnesium. Kidney function declines with age, which affects magnesium balance. Most seniors need more magnesium than they're getting from diet alone. Practical tip: use unsweetened almond butter only. Many brands add sugar or honey. Read the label. The only ingredient should be almonds, maybe a pinch of salt, nothing else. If you're allergic to almonds, you can substitute sunflower seed butter. It has slightly less magnesium, but works similarly. One warning: almond butter is calorie-dense, about 100 calories per tablespoon. If you're trying to lose weight, don't go above 1 tablespoon. If you add more, you'll get too many calories without additional blood sugar benefits. So, ingredient number 1. 1 tablespoon of unsweetened almond butter. This delivers magnesium that enhances insulin signaling and completes the blood sugar lowering effect of this smoothie. You now know the 7 ingredients that lower blood sugar. But if you make these 4 mistakes, you'll cancel out every benefit. Mistake number 1. Adding fruit juice or coconut water as your liquid base. I see this constantly. People think coconut water is healthy. It's marketed as natural and hydrating. It's also loaded with sugar. 1 cup of coconut water has 12 grams of sugar. Orange juice has 21 grams. Apple juice has 24 grams. When you add these as your liquid base, you're pouring sugar directly into a smoothie that's supposed to lower your blood sugar. Use water or unsweetened almond milk. That's it. No exceptions. Mistake number 2. Adding bananas or tropical fruits. Bananas, mangoes, pineapples, papayas all spike your glucose rapidly, even when blended with the ingredients I just listed. Why? Because they're high glycemic fruits. Hello. They contain more sugar and less fiber than berries. 1 medium banana has 27 grams of carbohydrates. That's more than double what's in 3/4 of a cup of blueberries. If you add a banana to this smoothie, your glucose will spike 30 to 40 points higher than if you stick to blueberries only. Mistake number 3. Using flavored Greek yogurt. Flavored Greek yogurt, vanilla, strawberry, honey, has 12 to 18 grams of added sugar per serving.